years, we've got used to walking into a supermarket and queuing to pay. And then Amazon Just Walk Out came along. I could walk in, pick up my product, and just walk out, thinking beyond my constraints. In 1996, Amazon reinvented bookselling. The fact you could go onto a website, order your book and get it delivered now the next day, or even the same day, revolutionized e-commerce. In 2006, Amazon Web Services did the same with the cloud, making technology accessible to everyone. What would happen if you could think beyond the limits of even this planet? As we launched 3,200 low Earth orbit satellites to bring billions of people out of digital poverty around the world. That's what we can do today. We can reinvent a dress, a chair, a financial product, a car. The only thing that's limited us is our imagination, our ability to think big, and then the skills to bring that to life. And we've already seen a whole generation of even non-technical builders inspired to think differently about how they approach their job. And these times of great change take the form of stories. Many of these stories talk about new technologies replacing human labor, new competitors replacing long-standing companies, new skills replacing old and commanding a premium because of their newness, radical new ways of working, developing. The headlines and papers proclaim at the same time great excitement and great fear about this new technology. And these fears are often misplaced. New skills and technology opens up a whole new world of opportunity for all of us. You all know this from your own journeys into the cloud. We know that technology can change the world. But what I find interesting is that's not a story of today, that's a story of the Industrial Revolution I've just told you. New ways of operating, new skills and new technology fundamentally changed the trajectory on this planet, improved productivities and improved lives around the world. We're at that tipping point again. We've seen in the past the invention of electricity, the railroad, and now with technology and with generative AI in the cloud, we have the same opportunity to reinvent what we've taken for granted. AI gives us a long overdue incentive to change how we work. We still use models based on 19th century thinking. But what I've observed in the hundreds of customers I've talked to is, it's not the technology that holds us back. It's our imagination and it's our skill sets. And in fact, we can quantify this. Over the past year, we've looked at those anti-patterns of change, the things which hold organizations back from becoming a better version of themselves. And we found, from talking to executives, from talking to organizations, about 300 things. Here's what I want to leave you with today. Every single one of you can make a change in your organization to make your organization a better version of itself. Every single one of you is a leader. And I'll share a few examples, simple examples, because this is what we want to avoid. Who's been through a transformation and enjoyed it? Enough said. It often feels like we wire our organization with dynamite and press the plunger and hope we become an agile, platform-based, data-enabled organization as a consequence. It's not a natural act. Us human beings do not react well to that sort of change. And one of the things I love about Amazon is we have what's called a day one culture. A day one culture is quite simply that desire to change every single day, make things better every single day from every seat. And in fact, to do that, we found 3 things need to be true. Everyone in your organization needs to be clear on what success looks like, what your purpose is, what your priorities are. Everyone wants to have ownership. They want to feel like they're doing more than a job description. And everyone wants to apply their imagination in their day-to-day job. Let me give you a few examples. So with clarity, try this back in your organization. Pick 10 people at random. Ask them, what is the purpose of your organization and what are the top 3 priorities? Data tells us most answers will be different. So how do you get people aligned? How do you get them to understand how they're being measured and what success looks like for your organization? So quite simply, start with what is the purpose of your organization in plain English. Now, a few things that work here. I don't know about you, but I get bored of mission statements and vision statements and purpose statements because they start to sound like something Dilbert wrote. So what about an ambition statement? What about a pride statement? When I worked at McDonald's, we had a pride statement in IT. Pride statement was, we served 1% of the world's population every day through our technology, and we were one of the top 5 supply chains in the world. That's the sort of language that gets people excited. Look at what your durable problems are. Often we talk about strategy in terms of all the things we need to change. What about the things that don't need to change? We're pretty sure at Amazon.com, no one in 10 years' time is going to say, I wish you were slower in delivering, I wish your prices were higher, and I wish you had less choice. They're good, durable needs to center your organization on. And then when you've determined what is important to your organization, communicate, communicate, communicate. Tell stories, get people excited. The second aspect is around ownership. I don't want to go into work and just execute a set of tasks my boss gave me. I want to feel like I can make a real difference. I want to feel like I'm driving a business outcome. I want the autonomy to do that and the autonomy to make decisions. Has anyone heard the story about the pig and the chicken? A couple of hands. Pig and chicken walks down the road. Chicken says to pig, let's open a restaurant. You can probably guess where this is going. Pig says to chicken, what are we going to sell? Chicken says, bacon and eggs. Pig says to chicken, well, that's all right for you. You're involved. I'm committed. The story is quite simply, if you look at your own organization, look at an outcome, a meaningful customer outcome in your organization. Who's the pig? Please don't call people pigs, by the way. But the intent is, who is that person who is waking up every morning saying, are we making progress towards a meaningful outcome? We use things like tenants in Amazon, for instance. How are we going to make decisions? Are we optimizing for cost or speed? Are we going to buy or are we going to build? Who is that D? Who's that decision maker? And quite often in the largest organizations in the world, it's really hard to find that person. How do you make decisions smaller so you can take them faster? And if they don't work, you can reverse them more quickly. And get rid of your chickens, not literally, but those people who have an opinion, how do you actually get them to be accountable, to be driving outcomes? I'll give you a very simple example. One report says that the average developer in large enterprises spends 5 hours a week developing. So by Monday lunchtime, they're done. And then we say we don't have enough developers. Because they're in meetings, they're waiting for decisions, they're waiting on gatekeepers. Now, with things like Amazon Q Developer, we can significantly impact their productivity positively. But it's not enough if they're still being called into meetings, if they're still waiting for decisions. So look at your own development teams, look at your own work, and where are you wasting time? You're probably all familiar with 2 pizza teams. I've worked in 2 pizza teams, and they're great because bring a cross-functional team together, just one, if you don't have them today. Give them a business outcome and let them get on with it. It's hugely motivating as an individual on one of those teams. And then finally, the thing that gets me excited is curiosity, a uniquely human attribute. Did you know that if you're a 5-year-old kid, you probably ask up to 100 questions a minute? An hour. Although some of you as parents probably think it's a minute. By the time you're 15, it's down to about 3, if they're talking to you at all. We train people to stop asking questions and to have answers. It's deadly to innovation. CEOs, good CEOs ask, how do we really know what our customers want? They are data literate. They have more questions than they do answers. And if you think about this, if you have preschool age children, there's over a 60% chance that when they go into the workforce, they'll be doing a job that doesn't exist today. So curiosity is our protection for our personal development and our careers. Having a skill and using it for the rest of your career doesn't work now. The half-life of skills now is 5 years. You have to be perennially curious. And this doesn't mean sending people on training courses. It's about how do we create an environment in our workplace where everyone's learning. Doing retrospectives, having meetings which are about learning, doing post-mortems and pre-mortems to figure out what could go wrong or what has gone wrong. And it's one of the things that brought me to Amazon. Learn and be curious. I had the privilege of speaking to Indra Nooyi recently, who's on the Amazon board and was the CEO of Pepsi. And she said she looks for 2 things in leaders. They're good communicators. They communicate continually about what success looks like. But as importantly, they're curious. The leader who stops asking questions is no longer a leader. So a couple of things I'd urge you to do as leaders, every single one of you is a leader. Be like a teenager. Be curious about the technology. Open your mind up to the possibility. Really understand the questions we're trying to answer. Be humble. Be willing to say, I don't know yet. Too often we pretend we have the answer and we don't. And then we spend 5 years on a project that is meaningless. So be humble. Thirdly, think big. Small thinking is a self-fulfilling prophecy. You can make a process 10% better, a product 10% better, but think 10 times. How do you make it 10 times better? It challenges your mental models. You can't just make incremental improvements. You have to fundamentally rethink things. So think big. They're the folks, the people who think big are going to be the ones that change the world. And set your builders free. Those folks who are at the front line, these bright, intelligent, motivated people we hire and then put 32 levels of management on top. Let them do their job. Let them work with their customers. Let them innovate and experiment. I love this quote from Brian Herbert. We've all got a choice to make here. Are we going to be learners or aren't we? Nothing stops us. Nothing stops us going to the front line of our business and understanding what's really happening. Nothing stopping us coming up with hypotheses and running experiments. So please, go back tomorrow, not yet, go back tomorrow and look at what are you doing because you've always done it. And think about how do you reimagine your own workplace and do some amazing things. Thank you for your time.